On my 18th birthday, my parents kicked me out with nothing but a worn backpack and $50 in my pocket. "You've embarrassed us enough," my father said coldly as I stumbled down the spotless driveway. No daughter of mine would ever choose art over medicine. Behind him, my mother stood with her arms crossed, her diamond tennis bracelet glinting in the sunlight. "After everything we've done for you, Sarah, this is your gratitude? Throwing away your future." Everything they'd ever given me had invisible strings attached. The piano lessons I adored were meant to impress college admissions officers. The art supplies I cherished were approved only because they looked good on paper. Even my volunteer work at the animal shelter ended once they realized it wasn't prestigious enough. I remember standing at the edge of our property, watching those towering iron gates close behind me. The mansion that had once felt like home now seemed like a gilded cage I was finally escaping. Freedom sounded beautiful, until I realized I had no money, no plan, and nowhere to go. That's when Aunt Isabella appeared. I hadn't known she was nearby, watching from her sleek black Mercedes parked down the street. My father's older sister, Isabella, was the family's rebel. While he chased status and reputation as a surgeon, she built her own tech company from the ground up. She pulled up beside me and rolled down her window. "Get in, Sarah." I didn't hesitate. I'd always admired her. She was everything my parents weren't: genuine, confident, and kind. Even in her tailored blazer and Louboutin heels, she radiated warmth. "They don't understand you," she said as we drove away. "Art isn't just about color and canvas. It's about vision. People who see differently change the world." That car ride changed my life. She didn't just offer me a place to stay, she gave me purpose. Her penthouse became my home, and her mentorship shaped my future. While my parents told everyone I'd run away from responsibility, Isabella helped me apply to art school. She believed my creativity could transform how people interact with technology. For the next 5 years I flourished. I graduated at the top of my class and joined Montgomery Tech, her company, designing innovative user interfaces that would redefine digital experiences. My parents never called. Not once. Their silence stung, but Isabella's faith in me filled the void. "You're exactly where you're meant to be," she'd say whenever she caught me working late. What I didn't know was that she was dying. Terminal cancer. She'd kept it hidden for months, still coming to work, still mentoring, still fighting boardroom battles for her ideas. When she passed, I didn't just lose my aunt. I lost the only real parent I'd ever had. Her funeral was just as she wanted. Graceful, understated, full of love and stories about her brilliance. I sat in the front row, wearing the black Chanel suit she'd bought me for my first board meeting, fighting back tears as people spoke about her legacy. Then I saw them. My parents entered the church like royalty. Mom draped in designer black, Dad in a hand-tailored suit. Time had not been kind to them. Their wealth couldn't disguise the bitterness on their faces. They spotted me immediately. "Sarah," my mother said, her voice syrupy sweet. "Oh, darling, we've been so worried." I almost laughed. 5 years of silence, and now they cared. "What are you doing here?" I asked evenly, remembering Isabella's lessons about composure. "She was my sister," my father said stiffly. "Of course we're here. And you, well, it's time to come home, Sarah. This little rebellion has gone on long enough." "This little rebellion has gone on long enough," my father barked. Before I could answer, a poised woman in a flawless gray suit approached us. "Miss Montgomery," she said politely, addressing me. "I'm Victoria Chen, your aunt's attorney. The will reading will begin shortly in the private conference room. Would you please come with me?" My parents' faces changed instantly, shock giving way to greedy curiosity. "Will reading?" my father echoed, his voice sharpening. "We're her only living relatives, well aside from Sarah, but surely." Victoria's expression remained perfectly neutral, though I caught a glimmer of something like quiet satisfaction in her eyes. "All will be clarified soon," she said smoothly. "This way, please." The private chamber felt suffocating with tension. My parents sat across from me, trying to look solemn, though their eyes couldn't stop flicking toward the lawyer's briefcase. I reached up to touch the pendant Aunt Isabella had given me for my last birthday, a small silver key engraved with the words, "Future Unlocked." "Before we begin," said Miss Chen, "Miss Sarah, would you mind showing me your necklace?" My parents exchanged puzzled glances as I removed the pendant. Miss Chen examined it carefully, nodded, and then set her briefcase on the table. "Now," she said, unfolding a set of documents, "I will read the last will and testament of Isabella Montgomery, CEO of Montgomery Tech and majority shareholder of Montgomery Industries." The air in the room seemed to crackle. "I, Isabella Montgomery, being of sound mind and body, declare this to be my last will and testament." My father leaned forward as the attorney continued. "To my brother Richard and his wife Margaret." He smiled faintly, already anticipating fortune. "I leave exactly what they gave my niece Sarah 5 years ago, $50 and the opportunity to walk away." The words detonated like a bomb. "This is absurd," my father roared, his face flushing. "I'm her only sibling." Miss Chen didn't even blink. "To my niece, Sarah Montgomery," she continued, "I bequeath my entire estate including, but not limited to, my controlling shares in Montgomery Tech, valued at $2.8 billion, all domestic and international properties, my full investment portfolio, and complete ownership of Montgomery Industries." My mother's designer bag slipped from her hand and hit the floor. "That can't be true," she whispered. "Additionally," Miss Chen went on, "I name Sarah Montgomery as my successor, effective immediately, as CEO of Montgomery Tech and president of Montgomery Industries." The key pendant in my hand suddenly felt heavier, as though Isabella herself was there, reminding me of all those nights she'd made me sit through meetings, study quarterly reports, and balance creative vision with leadership. She hadn't just been mentoring me. She'd been preparing me. "This is insane," my father exploded, shoving his chair aside. "She's a naive little girl who doodles. She can't run a billion-dollar corporation." Miss Chen calmly reached for another document. "Actually, Mr. Montgomery, Sarah has been leading Montgomery Tech's UI/UX division for the past year, under Isabella's direct guidance. Her leadership increased user satisfaction by 40% and significantly boosted stock performance. Your sister kept meticulous records of every contribution." My mother shifted gears in an instant. Her tone softened, her eyes turned syrupy sweet. "Sweetheart," she cooed, reaching for my hand. "This is so much to handle alone. Let us help you. We're your family." I drew my hand back. "Family." My voice was steady. "Family doesn't throw their child out with $50. Family doesn't abandon their daughter for choosing her own path. Aunt Isabella was my family." "Sarah," my father said darkly, his voice dropping to a warning growl, "think very carefully about what you're doing. We'll challenge this will. You're clearly not mature enough to handle this kind of power." Miss Chen smiled faintly, the first time she had all day. "Mrs. and Mr. Montgomery," she said, producing a flash drive from her folder. "Isabella expected this reaction." She placed the drive on the table. "This contains 5 years of documented attempts by both of you to access her financial accounts, complete with forged signatures and falsified documents. She kept everything. She also kept detailed records of your attempts to bribe board members to vote against Sarah's proposals." My parents went ghost pale. "Furthermore," Miss Chen said, her tone unshaken, "there's one final item, a letter addressed to you, Miss Sarah." She handed me an envelope bearing my name in Aunt Isabella's elegant handwriting. My heart clenched as I opened it, the paper trembling between my fingers. "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, everything has unfolded exactly as I expected. Your parents have once again revealed who they truly are. But you, my brilliant girl, are ready for what's next. Far more ready than you realize. I didn't choose you as my successor because of blood. I chose you because in these past 5 years, you've proven yourself to be everything a true leader should be. Your creativity isn't a flaw. It's your power. You see connections others overlook. You understand that technology should elevate humanity, not enslave it. The key you wear isn't just a keepsake. In my private safe, the combination is your birthday. You'll find everything you need. My research notes, private projects, and classified files the board doesn't know about. One in particular, Project Legacy, will change the world. Your parents never learned that real wealth isn't money. It's impact. Don't ever doubt your readiness. You proved yourself the moment you chose integrity over comfort. All my love. Aunt Isabella. P.S. You'll also find evidence of your father's involvement in several questionable medical trials. Use it wisely only if you must. I folded the letter with care, feeling a surge of strength flow through me, the kind Aunt Isabella had always believed in. Across the room, my parents whispered frantically, their perfect composure unraveling. "Miss Chen," I said, my voice calm but firm, "please have security escort my parents from the premises, and issue an immediate ban from all Montgomery Tech properties." "You ungrateful little," my father began, but I didn't let him finish. "I'm not done," I said sharply. "Also, draft a press statement confirming my appointment as CEO, and schedule a full board meeting for tomorrow morning." "You'll regret this," my mother hissed as security entered. "This isn't over." "Oh, it is," I said, rising to my feet with quiet authority. "And Dad," I paused, letting the moment stretch. "The medical board will be very interested in what Project Legacy uncovered about your experiments." Their faces drained of color as security led them out. When the door closed, Miss Chen smiled for the first time that day. "Your aunt would be proud. The board meeting's already set for 9 a.m. The executives who worked under you are ready to back your leadership." That night, I sat alone in Aunt Isabella's office. My office now, her framed portrait watching over me. The safe opened easily, just as she'd said. Inside was everything. Company blueprints, Project Legacy's prototypes, and enough evidence to make sure my parents would never threaten me again. A year later, Montgomery Tech unveiled Project Legacy, an AI-driven healthcare system that brought affordable medical access to people worldwide. The press called it revolutionary. The board called it historic. My father called his lawyer. But by then, his medical license had already been revoked. My mother tried contacting me once, after our market value tripled. I blocked her number without hesitation. The silver key still hangs around my neck, but I don't need it to remember who I am anymore. I'm Sarah Montgomery, CEO of Montgomery Tech. Like Aunt Isabella, I believe power should uplift, not destroy. Sometimes, late at night as I sketch new designs across my desk, I can almost feel her presence. Calm, proud, watching me shape the future she believed in. She once told me success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. As for my parents, last I heard, they'd downsized to a modest home in the suburbs. Funny how fast the money runs out when entitlement is your only investment. But I rarely think about them now. I'm too busy building the legacy Aunt Isabella always knew I would. The stupid girl who drew pictures. She just changed the world.